The night before my wedding, my world broke. I was supposed to marry Harrison Montgomery, my charming boyfriend of 3 years. I went to his bachelor party at the Grand Hotel to drop off his grandfather's cufflinks, a gift from his mom, Diana. The staff let me into the private lounge, and that's when I heard it, Harrison's laugh, loud and sharp. Then his words hit me like a punch. "Sophia's just temporary," he told his friend Blake. "She's good for now, her money, her connections. But I'll find someone better later." Laughter followed, and my heart stopped. I stood there, clutching the cufflinks, my dreams crumbling. 3 years of love, late-night talks, and plans flashed before me, all lies. I saw it clearly now, his last-minute cancellations, his pushy way of steering my choices. He'd been playing me. My parents are gone, and Diana had become like a mom, his sister Claire my best friend. I thought we were family. But Harrison saw me as a tool, not a partner. The pain was raw, but tears didn't come. Instead, a cold calm took over. Back home, I opened my laptop. As his business partner, I had access to Montgomery Enterprises' emails and records. I dug in, searching for proof of the man he really was. Hours passed, and I found it: shady deals, hidden accounts, emails to a woman on his board, planning a life after our honeymoon. My hands shook, but my mind was clear. He wasn't just cheating on me, he was stealing from his company, his family, everyone. I barely slept. The wedding was hours away, but I wasn't going to be the bride he expected. I'd walk down that aisle, but not to say I do. I was going to show everyone who Harrison Montgomery really was. His mom's cufflink sat on my desk, a reminder of the family I thought I'd join. Diana and Claire deserved the truth, even if it hurt. I didn't know how I'd do it yet, but I knew I would. Tomorrow, Harrison would face the consequences of his words, his lies, his betrayal. I wasn't just a temporary choice, I was his reckoning. After hearing Harrison's betrayal, I didn't cry, I worked. My laptop glowed in the dark as I sifted through Montgomery Enterprises files. As his business partner, I had access to everything. What I found was worse than I imagined. Emails showed Harrison funneling company money to secret offshore accounts. Messages to Rebecca, a board member, revealed their affair, planning to use my trust fund post-wedding. He was stealing from his family's company and cheating on me, all while smiling to my face. My heart ached, but a fierce calm kept me focused. I saved every email, every transaction, building a case to ruin him. By dawn, I had enough to bury his reputation and his business. The evidence sat in a folder on my desktop, a ticking bomb. I felt sick, thinking of Diana and Claire, who loved him blindly. But they deserved the truth, even if it shattered them. I was shaking inside, but my hands were steady as I closed my laptop and got ready for the wedding. Morning came and I played the part of a bride. I put on makeup, let my bridesmaids fuss over my hair, and smiled at Diana's excitement. She gave me a pearl necklace, a Montgomery heirloom, saying it was tradition. The pearls felt heavy, like a chain linking me to a family built on lies. I hugged her, hiding the storm inside me. My plan was set: I'd carry the evidence in an envelope, tucked into my dress, and reveal it at the altar. I texted my private investigator for final proof. At 11:45 a.m., he sent screenshots, more emails, more lies, even Harrison's plans to ditch me after securing my money. My phone buzzed as I slipped into my gown, the weight of the pearls and the envelope grounding me. I looked in the mirror, not a blushing bride but a warrior. Claire adjusted my veil, saying Harrison was lucky. I smiled, knowing he'd soon regret ever meeting me. The wedding was hours away, and I was ready. I'd walk down that aisle, but not for love, for justice. Harrison thought he'd fooled everyone, but I was about to turn his world upside down. The anticipation burned in my chest, a mix of pain and power. I wasn't just exposing a cheater, I was saving myself, Diana, Claire, and everyone he'd hurt. Today, his lies would end, and I'd make sure the whole world saw it. The wedding morning felt like a dream, but not the happy kind. I stood in my suite, letting my bridesmaids flutter around me, fixing my hair and dress. Diana burst in, holding my bouquet of peonies, her eyes shining with pride. "You're perfect, Sophia," she said. I smiled, hiding the truth. Claire, Harrison's sister, tucked my veil in place, whispering, "You'll stun him." I nodded, my heart racing, not with joy but with purpose. I was playing a role, and no one suspected a thing. My phone buzzed at 11:43 a.m. My investigator sent the final evidence, emails proving Harrison's fraud, texts to Rebecca about their affair, even plans to cheat after our honeymoon. I locked myself in the bathroom, reading every word, my hands steady despite the pain. This was it, the last piece I needed. I slipped the printed evidence into a cream envelope and hid it in a pocket sewn into my dress. The weight against my thigh felt like armor. The wedding was beautiful, champagne toasts, soft music, flowers everywhere. But to me, it was a cruel joke. The string quartet played our song, One Harrison, and I picked on a rainy night. Now it sounded hollow, a reminder of his lies. I sipped water, avoiding champagne, staying sharp. Every laugh, every smile from the guests, felt like a lie I was about to shatter. Diana fastened the Montgomery pearls around my neck, saying they were hers once. Their cold touch burned, but I thanked her, holding back the truth. The coordinator rushed in, clipboard in hand. "It's time, Sophia. Harrison's at the altar." My bridesmaids lined up, giggling, as Claire kissed my cheek. I waited until they left, then checked the envelope one last time. My investigator texted, "Reporters ready, police on standby." I deleted it, tucked my phone away, and took a deep breath. The church doors opened, and the wedding march began. 200 guests stood, smiling, clueless. I stepped forward, clutching my bouquet, the envelope heavy in my dress. Harrison stood at the altar, grinning, his tux perfect. He thought he'd won, that I was his pawn. But I wasn't walking to marry him, I was walking to destroy him. Every step down the aisle steeled my resolve. This wasn't a wedding, it was a battlefield, and I was ready to fight. I reached the altar, and Harrison reached for my hand, whispering, "You're stunning." I stepped back, my heart pounding. The priest opened his mouth, but I turned to the crowd, my voice clear. "Before we start, I have something to share, not vows, but truth." I pulled the envelope from my dress, breaking the seal. Harrison's smile froze. "These are Harrison's emails to Rebecca Matthews, his mistress," I said, reading aloud. "He plans to use my trust fund and leave me." The church gasped. Harrison's face went pale. I kept going, pulling out papers. "Here's proof of his offshore accounts, stolen company funds." I let the documents flutter to the ground, each one a piece of his lies. Rebecca, in the front row, squirmed, her navy dress screaming guilt. Blake, his best friend, looked away. The crowd murmured, shocked. Right on cue, the church doors opened, and 2 SEC agents walked in, badges flashing. Cameras clicked, reporters I'd tipped off were capturing it all. Harrison lunged for the papers, grabbing my arm. "Sophia, stop," he hissed. I yanked free. "You said I was temporary, didn't you? Just a step until someone better?" His eyes widened, gray with panic. I faced the crowd. "He's embezzled millions, cheated on me, and planned to ruin families. Here's the proof, for the SEC, the press, everyone." The agents moved closer, and Rebecca slipped out a side door, but I knew she wouldn't escape. Diana stood, her face crumbling, tears falling. Claire sobbed among the bridesmaids, and my heart twisted. I hadn't wanted to hurt them, but they needed to know. "I'm sorry," I whispered, mostly to them. Harrison snarled, "You've ruined me." I removed the Montgomery pearls, dropping them at his feet. "No, you did that yourself." The agents grabbed him, cuffing his wrists as he shouted excuses. I turned and walked back down the aisle, alone. Guests stared, some filming, others fleeing. The music was silent, replaced by chaos. Outside, sunlight hit my face, and reporters swarmed, shouting questions. I didn't answer. Justice was done, Harrison's world was collapsing, his lies exposed. But my chest ached for Diana's pain, Claire's tears, the family I'd lost. I'd won, but it wasn't joy I felt. It was relief, heavy with the cost of truth. I kept walking, head high, ready to face whatever came next. The days after the wedding were a whirlwind. Headlines screamed, "Bride exposes Montgomery fraud." Reporters camped outside my old place, so I moved to a new apartment overlooking Central Park, a spot Harrison always mocked. Strangers sent messages, calling me a hero, a whistleblower. I didn't feel like one, just a woman who'd lost everything and fought back. My phone buzzed with support, but also hate from Harrison's allies. I blocked them, cutting ties with anyone who'd defended him. Diana came to see me 3 days later, her eyes red but kind. She held out the Montgomery pearls, the ones I'd dropped at the altar. "These are yours," she said. I shook my head, but she insisted. "You told the truth, Sophia. That makes you family." We sat on my new couch, sipping tea, the silence heavy. She blamed herself for Harrison's choices, but I took her hand. "He fooled us all, not you." Her gift meant the world, a sign I hadn't lost her, even if it hurt. Claire was different. She called every day, her voice breaking. "Why didn't you tell me?" she'd ask. I explained I couldn't, not until I had proof. She loved Harrison, her big brother, and his betrayal crushed her. She wanted to fix things, but I told her the truth, some things can't be fixed. She was angry, then sad, but we kept talking. I hoped she'd heal, but it would take time. Seeing her pain made me ache, but I couldn't carry it for her. My new place was my sanctuary. I filled it with things Harrison hated, bright pillows, modern art. It was mine, not his. I stayed off social media, ignoring Blake's pathetic apologies and Rebecca's silence. They were part of his world, not mine anymore. I spent nights reading the evidence again, making sure I'd missed nothing. The SEC was building a case, and my files were key. It felt good to help, even if it was exhausting. I was alone, but not lonely. The media called me the whistleblower bride, but I was just Sophia, starting over. I had my work, my truth, and Diana's faith in me. Claire would come around, I hoped. For now, I focused on rebuilding, new routines, new goals, a life free of Harrison's lies. It wasn't easy, but it was mine, and that was enough to keep me going. My evidence tore Montgomery Enterprises apart. The SEC used my files to uncover years of fraud, not just Harrison's but his father's too. The company collapsed, stocks crashed, and headlines roared about the Montgomery scandal. I didn't celebrate, but I felt justice. Hundreds of employees lost jobs, so I worked quietly, sending anonymous tips to help them move investments before the fall. Some got new jobs, others thanked me without knowing it was me. It wasn't enough, but it was something. The investigation dug deeper, exposing Harrison's network of corrupt partners. Big names resigned, companies crumbled. My evidence was a spark that lit a fire, burning away lies. Harrison's trial was coming, and prosecutors leaned on my files. Rebecca, his mistress, took a plea deal, spilling secrets to save herself. She'd get 5 years, less than she deserved. Blake tried to play innocent, but no one believed him. He fled town, his reputation trashed. I didn't care, they were ghosts now. I started a consulting firm, helping companies spot fraud. Clients came fast, drawn to my story. They called me ethical, a leader. My firm grew, hiring experts, building a name for honesty. I worked long hours, not for money but for purpose. Every case felt like a small win against men like Harrison. I wasn't just surviving, I was making a difference, turning pain into power. Claire reached out, slowly healing. She joined my firm, using her skills to rebuild her family's legacy the right way. Diana started a foundation for corporate ethics, and I advised her, proud of her strength. We were rewriting the Montgomery name, not as fraud but as truth. It wasn't what I'd planned, but it felt right. Harrison's trial loomed, and I was ready to face him, to show him what his lies cost. I never meant to be a hero. The media loved the whistleblower bride story, but I was just a woman who refused to stay quiet. My firm's success, Claire's growth, Diana's fight, they were my real victories. I was proud, not of fame, but of the lives we were saving, the truths we were telling. Harrison thought he'd use me, but I'd turned his game against him. Now, I was building something bigger, and no one could take that away. Harrison's trial was a storm. I sat in the witness stand, my voice steady, recounting every lie, every email, every dollar he stole. His eyes locked on mine, not charming anymore, just empty. His lawyers called me vengeful, but my evidence spoke louder: bank records, emails, texts to Rebecca. The jury didn't blink. Facing him wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I wasn't just testifying against him, I was standing for everyone he'd hurt. Diana took the stand next, her voice breaking but strong. She told the court how Harrison betrayed their family, misusing funds her father built. "Truth matters more than blood," she said, tears falling. The courtroom went silent. Claire sat beside me, gripping my hand. She'd been angry at first, but now she was fierce, helping rebuild her family's name. Watching Diana, she whispered, "We're stronger than he is." I nodded, proud of her fight. The trial lasted weeks. Employees testified about Harrison's threats, partners about his schemes. Rebecca's testimony, part of her plea deal, sealed his fate, detailing secret meetings and hidden accounts. Blake took a deal, admitting he knew but did nothing. The evidence piled up, my files at the core. On a rainy Thursday, the verdict came, guilty on all counts. 15 years, no parole. Harrison's face crumpled, his mask gone. He looked small, not the man I'd loved. Outside, Diana spoke to reporters, Claire and I at her side. "The Montgomery family stands for integrity," she said. "This verdict proves it." We toasted later at her house, not to pain but to truth. Diana thanked me for saving their legacy. Claire hugged me, calling me family. The Montgomery name was changing, from fraud to honesty, and we were doing it together. It wasn't just Harrison's loss, it was our victory. The trial closed a chapter. I wasn't the broken bride anymore. My consulting firm was growing, my purpose clear: stop men like Harrison. Diana's foundation was thriving, Claire's work shining. We'd turned betrayal into strength. I felt peace, not because he was gone, but because I'd found my place. The truth had cost me a wedding, but it gave me a mission. I was ready to keep fighting, for me, for them, for everyone who deserved better. A year after Harrison's trial, I'm not the woman I was. I'm a leader now, speaking at conferences about corporate ethics. Last week, I stood at the Grand Hotel, yes, that hotel, facing executives eager to learn from the whistleblower bride. I told them truth isn't easy, but lies cost more. They listened, and my words mattered. My consulting firm's booming, with offices in New York, London, and Singapore. We help companies catch fraud before it starts, and clients trust us because I've lived it. Claire's my partner now, running a division with fierce focus. She's turned her pain into purpose, rebuilding the Montgomery name the right way. We work late, laughing over coffee, closer than ever. Diana's foundation is growing, funding ethics programs at universities. She wears the Montgomery pearls at every event, a symbol of change, not betrayal. Together, we're making the family legacy mean honesty, not greed. It's hard work, but it feels like healing. I've started dating, but I'm careful. A few nice guys, good dinners, but my heart's guarded. Work comes first, my firm, the foundation, helping people. I'm not ready to trust like I did with Harrison. Maybe someday, but not now. I'm okay alone, stronger than I thought possible. My new apartment, my routines, my goals, they're mine, built from scratch. I don't need a man to feel whole, I need purpose, and I've got that. Sometimes, I think about the night I overheard Harrison. It broke me, but it also made me. Without it, I wouldn't be here, speaking to crowds, saving companies, lifting Claire and Diana up. The media still calls me a hero, but I'm just Sophia, doing what's right. The Montgomery pearls sit in my drawer, a reminder of what we've overcome. Diana says I'm family, and Claire calls me sister. That's worth more than any ring. I'm grateful, for my strength, for the truth, for the path I'm on. It's not perfect, but it's real. My firm's changing lives, and so am I. Harrison's in prison, but I'm free, building something bigger than his lies. Every step forward feels like a win, not. 3 years after exposing Harrison, I'm a new woman. I married Marcus, a kind ethics professor, in a quiet botanical garden ceremony. No grand cathedral, just flowers, close friends, and love that feels real. Marcus gets me, my past, my strength. We share goals, building ethics programs for schools. Our vows were simple: choose truth, grow together. When he spoke of my courage inspiring him, I saw honesty in his eyes, not Harrison's charm. My heart's safe with him. Diana fussed over my veil, tears in her eyes. This is right, she said, offering the Montgomery pearls. I smiled, declining. They belong to her foundation now, a symbol of change. Claire burst in, laughing. Marcus is glowing. She's my sister, not by blood but by choice. They stood by me, my chosen family, as I rebuild my life. Diana's foundation has grown, funding scholarships for whistleblowers. Claire runs a clean Montgomery business, proving we're more than Harrison's lies. Rumors swirl about Harrison's parole. I don't dwell on it, he's the past. My present is Marcus, our work, our love. We teach students to spot fraud, using my story as a lesson. The Foundation's gala was a hit, with Diana and Claire toasting to truth. I danced with Marcus under twinkling lights, feeling peace. He whispered, "Your truth led us here." I nodded, grateful for the journey. Diana and Claire are my rocks. Diana calls me the daughter she always wanted. Claire teases me about Marcus but cheers loudest at our wins. They've healed, like me, turning pain into purpose. The Foundation's global now, changing how businesses think. My firm's thriving, and I'm proud. Harrison's shadow fades, replaced by light, Marcus's smile, our shared dreams. I'm at peace. My life's transformed, not by revenge but by love and truth. The garden where we wed is where we plan our future. I don't fear Harrison's parole, I'm too busy living. Diana, Claire, Marcus, they're my home. 3 years ago, I lost a fiancé but gained a life. I'm happy, whole, and ready for whatever comes next, with Marcus by my side. 6 years after that awful night, I faced Harrison again. He was out on parole, and Diana hosted a dinner for him to make amends. Marcus and I arrived with our daughter, Grace, 8 months old and full of joy. Harrison stood in Diana's dining room, older, humbler, his eyes clear. "Mrs. Chin," he said, correcting himself from Sophia, "thank you for coming." He looked at Grace, smiling softly. "She's got your strength." I nodded, feeling no anger, just calm. Over dinner, Harrison shared his prison work, counseling inmates, teaching them about fraud's real cost. He used my ethics program, never admitting I was the case study. He read a letter, his voice steady, "You didn't just stop me, Sophia. You showed me a better way." Grace cooed, breaking the tension, and I held her close, her warmth grounding me. Harrison knelt by her, whispering, "Be brave like your mom." It wasn't forgiveness, but closure. My life's full now. Marcus and I teach, our daughter lights up our days, and the Foundation's global, changing lives. Diana's proud, calling me family. Claire's my partner, running ethical businesses. At my last Stanford lecture, I told students, truth isn't revenge, it's transformation. A student asked why I stopped speaking. I touched my belly, pregnant again, and smiled. New stories need space to grow. Claire later mentioned Harrison's parole hearing. He's changed, counseling others. I wrote the board, not to judge but to note his shift. The Foundation's gala marked the hearing's eve. I spoke to a crowd of leaders, students, and whistleblowers we'd helped. Revenge isn't destroying, it's building better, I said. Marcus and I walked the gardens after, Grace asleep. He held my hand. Our story's about truth blooming. I agreed, thinking of the bride I was, now a mom, wife, leader. Harrison's betrayal started this, but I finished it, stronger. I accept my journey, pain, truth, love. Diana gave me Harrison's grandma's diary, a gift of courage. As Marcus smiled, I felt hope, not for what was, but for what's coming. Grace, our unborn child, our work, they're my future. 6 years ago, I broke. Now, I'm whole, ready for new beginnings, built on truth.